So we will discuss about coup in Burma. The Global
Yeah,
Digest media has a series of
yeah,
conversation with different neighbor countries, and we
yeah,
discuss our opinion about coup in Burma. It was a
yeah,
military takeover, democratic civilians government in February 1. It was very
yeah,
sad day for Burma, and
yeah, yeah,
it's sad for Burmese people. We lost democracy in Burma. The
yeah,
military took illegally uh,
yeah,
the power. They steal power from the people without the people consent. They are illegal government.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
now the thing is not about Burma. It is more about
yeah,
we are competing democratic and authoritarian in our region.
yeah,
So we have a
yeah,
one side democratic group like big India, and the other side authoritarian led by China. So we are in the middle of competition. So our regional
yeah,
competition, whether we were losing democracy or whether we can restore democracy. So Burma is critical country.
yeah,
How we can
yeah,
restore democracy, that we are able to balance
yeah,
our position, democratic position in the region. I see Indian government is a little bit silent. They are biggest democracy in spite of that. Can you share us what
Indian
is Indian
government, to my
position
mind,
now?
is Indian government right at the moment the regime is there is least concerned about democracy. The way it was with Trump
Yep.
in the US, least concerned about democracy because they don't treasure democratic values. So Indian government should calculate in terms of what is called real politics. That what benefits or other things they
Yep.
can gain from aligning or opposing a particular regime. They will not go by the value-based foreign policy. It's not a value-based foreign politics. It is called realism, realist policy.
Yep.
So that's that.
Yep. I mean, whether Indian will not suffer if they don't have a lot of democratic neighbor country. If they lost a lot of democratic country around India, it will not be a danger for India if there are a lot of authoritarian country in neighbor.
Yeah, actually, this notion that the country is a homogeneous block, it's a solid block, I believe that's a flawed concept. A country consists of people, and people have got different opinions, and a country, neither in terms of domestic policy nor in terms of foreign policy, would be having a would be following a consistent line. It will change from a particular regime to another regime, from a particular ruling party or coalition to another ruling party or
Yeah.
coalition. So none of these things are fixed. It's only a myth that this is Indian interest, this is American interest, blah blah blah. So it's really not like that. It keeps changing. Bill Clinton had come to visited China for a very long trip. Before that, Ronald Reagan actually broke the ice with China.
Yeah.
Again, Bush went back to a policy of confrontation. Fine. So it keeps changing. There is no fixed policy that it is the Indian, the quote unquote, there is no quote unquote Indian interest. Interest of different sections of people differ, people with different views they diverge.
So
So
each,
anyway, right at the moment, the Indian government, to my understanding and estimate, would be least bothered about quote unquote democracy. They would be bothered about many other calculations, but not democracy per se. Fine, if they feel that they are to oppose this regime, they would also use this logic of democracy.
yeah,
But only if they feel on other counts that they are to oppose this regime, then they would talk
yeah,
about democracy. But otherwise, they will not. They will simply gloss over it. In Sri Lanka, there was a genocide.
yeah,
Tamils,
yeah.
people who are actually related to, very closely related to India, they were killed. The government did not bat its eyelid.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
So right now, Indian government position on Burma is a kind of Dubai bills. So India cannot concretization about Burma democratization at the moment. Is right?
Indian government would not be considered about quote unquote democracy in Burma or Myanmar, whatever you call it.
Yeah,
But Indian government would be concerned about its relationship with China. So
yeah,
it will weigh things, it will estimate things, it will determine its own position
yeah.
through the prism of Sino-Burmese relationship and all. If it feels that this regime is going to be closer to China, first they will try to win them away. If they fail, then they will talk of democracy and all these things. Otherwise, no.
It means India is more saying agreeing with China instead of his own stand for democracy. It
India
means
is not agreeing with China. India has got a regional contest competition with China. The relationship has actually, in the recent days, it has worsened. So
yeah,
India is trying to ally with the US in order to confront China. So if a neighbor, next door neighbor, actually Burma and India, they have common borders.
yeah,
There's okay, fine. So if there is the Myanmar's regime develops a closer relationship with China than in the past, then India would be concerned. India would not be the India means the present regime won't be concerned if thousand people are killed there or there is no democracy there. But if they are
yeah,
concerned because of the relationship with China, they will condemn the killing of people. They will condemn loss of
yeah.
democracy and all that.
Of course, in Myanmar, the military regime they don't aware about democracy and they don't aware about civilian. You can see
Yeah,
the Burmese population across the country. They clearly express their opinion. They want
yeah,
democracy. They don't want authoritarian. Whatever
yes,
China or any authoritarian, the public, the population, the
yeah,
across the country clearly send a message. We don't want those authoritarian. We want democracy. It means they express we want democracy. We want to be aligned with India democracy and other democracy country in the world. So it is clearly
yeah.
India can see the population of Burma. They want democracy. They need democratic country cooperation and support like big India. That is clear. You can see the Burmese public opinion.
Yeah, yeah. The public opinion is fairly clear. If you want to send some material, I can even circulate it here. But as I said, there is no quote unquote Indian opinion. Of course, there is an opinion of the Indian
Yep.
government, but different sections of people will have. Actually, India itself is losing democracy. It's on the path of autocracy. Fine,
I
that's a
see.
different issue altogether. But the democratic framework is still there. It has not
Yep.
totally collapsed. So different sections of people will have different opinions.
So you said
So
India is now the democracy is weak in itself.
yeah, Indian
So
democracy has
weak,
become
but I see
subverted.
I don't see in India democracy is breakdown. You know, it's not yet breakdown. It's still
It
they
has not yet
can.
it has
It's
not yet collapsed. It has
yeah,
not yet totally collapsed, but it is to a very
yeah,
substantial extent it has been subverted, and
yeah.
it is being subverted. So it is going down the path, but still, but the fight for democracy, it's a in a way it's a global fight. If
Yeah.
democracy wins in India, that actually helps in Burma as well. People get invigorated. If democracy wins in Burma, that in a certain sense helps in India uh, in the fight for democracy. It
Do you
reinforces
think
one
Indian
another.
military has superior over civilian government in India? Is their
No, no,
military any trait?
no, no. The Burmese condition and the Indian conditions are historically quite different.
Yes,
Burmese condition, to an extent, is more comparable with the Pakistan, where the military has got a major role, in fact, a determining role.
yes,
Burma was there was military coup in Burma. Who was there? Nevin was there, or who was there? Now I don't
Aung
recall.
San Suu Kyi.
Huh?
Aung
No,
San Suu Kyi.
no. So she came only through the loosening of the military rule. But when the military coup first time occurred, then there was probably Nevin or somebody. I am not
Yes,
very
Ne
sure.
Win, dictator.
So that is Nevin. So
Yes,
Suchi came through popular struggle. She was under house arrest for over a decade or whatever.
yeah,
Uh,
in
b-
1990s.
Yeah, and this time she has been removed only because, to my knowledge, because of the apprehension she would win another election with a even larger majority than the last time, which itself was a massive majority. But even
Yes,
when Suchi was in power, the military was quite strong. They were even the constitution provided a major role for the military. Now
yes,
that thing is that part is also gone. So fine. So
yeah,
Burma, in that sense, even under Suchi, was not a democracy that India was or even is at the moment. It was
yeah.
something like Pakistan's democracy.
Yeah, so it's quite different from India. Burma democracy is absolutely not consolidated, but in India
Yeah,
case, you have consolidated democracy. The military
comparatively more
yeah,
Yeah,
never
but it is
never
going down.
chance. In India, never military can take over civilian government. I don't think Indian military will do that like in Burma.
Yeah, we never say never, but that we really don't, no one knows. But at least in the foreseeable future, India does not have any prospect of military takeover. It would be what is happening is a political takeover,
Yeah.
political autocracy, not a military autocracy.
So in
So,
India constitution, there is no military has a chance to
no,
take
no, no,
over
no. The Indian
civilian.
constitution, it is the civilians have the control over the military. Military
Yeah,
does not have any
I think
control.
so. India constitution doesn't give any provision to military to take
No,
over
no, no,
the
no.
civilian
There is
government,
nothing
right?
of that. There is
And
nothing of that sort.
Also, Indian military, their, I mean, their duty and their military has educated. They should never overtake or upper hand in the politic with civilians government. In India, military has more discipline and more, I mean, they have a principle, right? India military has more principle
Yeah, and
compared
also
to Burma.
there is no unified command. That means the army, the navy, and the air force, they are under different command. So it is also even if somebody wants, it's a bit difficult
In
because
India,
if
the
once
army chief of army is not control all these troop like navy and uh,
right
air
now
force,
there is this
ground
government has
troop.
made a change. This
Yes,
government has made a change. Even then, operationally, all the three commands are different. Though technically there is a common head now, it was not there. It is very recent, but that has not. That is yet to consolidate. I
I
believe.
see.
I'm not.
Commander of chief, it means he doesn't can control all this army, navy, and air force in
COC,
India.
COC is now technically in control of all the three arms, but
Yeah,
even then, operationally, the three arms are different.
yeah. So it's a it mean commander chief has loosely control, right? There is more prime
Yeah,
minister has control.
he's just there like the president. Actually, the way actually notionally the president is in command, but
I
actually
see.
it is the prime minister who is in command.
I
So
see.
he's something similar there as well.
I
It is
see.
is that command the commander in chief is something like a president. Okay, fine, he is there and there.
So
No problem.
prime minister can more able to control the navy, the air, air
The
force,
prime,
and
yeah,
right?
everything is under civilian control. Actually, it is the president who is the head of the armed forces, but it
Yeah,
is civilian control and it is exercised by the cabinet, by the prime minister and all.
I see. So the army chief cannot do step from the behind, right? Like in Myanmar.
It's not easy. Never say never. As the saying goes, never say never.
Yep,
But it's not easy. It's much more difficult.
yep. In case of Burma, the military chief of army step the civilian government from the back, So in
Yeah,
India case, it won't do, it's not possible, right?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I understand India is consolidated democracy, but the thing India is poor in democracy, and they are not continuously upgrade. Their possession, India democracy is same like 50 years ago. They can do only the minimal democracy election, but they cannot introduce a liberal democracy and better economic, better living standard in the country. In India case, I see like that.
Okay.
And I mean, basic democracy is okay. And now our region is more concerned about Indo-Pacific issue. Indo-Pacific
Yeah,
issue is India were aware the Indian Ocean and Bengal, Bengal,
yeah.
the Bay of Bengal. That is, Burma is very critical issue for Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean. So Indian
Yeah.
provided the submarine to Burma. At least a kind of India has a link with Burmese Navy. So in that way,
yeah,
India influence in the Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean is, I mean, the initiative, ini- initiative is good, but I don't know how long Indian Navy and Burmese Navy uh, cooperation right now, and how Indo-Pacific can be. It will be big effect if Burmese is for Chinese influence. The Indo-Pacific, the
yeah.
Indo-Pacific will
The
be
rather
collapsed. It can be collapsed.
actually here, as I said, that India and China they are contesting. It was a the term was Asia Pacific. Now
Yeah,
India and US they are have all started using the term Indo-Pacific. That actually
yes,
shows the tension, the conflict. So India is already in alliance with the US, the Japan, and
yep,
Australia, which is called the Quad.
yep,
Burmese Navy would be very would be of very negligible strength. In
yep,
fact, even Indian Navy by itself cannot do much. So it needs the support of the US, and Australia and Japan must be having some sizable force. So all four together there to confront China and its allies. So
yep,
that's the picture here, Asia Pacific or Indo Pacific, whatever you call it. But otherwise, in some areas, India even till recently had some cooperation with China. There was Shanghai Cooperation Agreement and all bank. There is a common bank which is headquartered in Shanghai,
yep,
headed by an Indian. So these cooperations are also there, but that cooperation is not working now. It is more a conflict. So that
yep.
is the actually India will
I
look
think Shanghai
at Burma.
Cooperation is including Pakistan and Russia and those things.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
Actually,
it's not
India,
about
India.
democracy.
No, no, no. It's about power relations.
Yeah,
Actually, the Shanghai Cooperation was essentially initiated by China, and the
yeah,
first partner was Russia. India and Pakistan, they were co-opted at a later point of time.
yeah. So for India, instead of Shanghai Cooperation, Indo-Pacific Alliance is more important than Shanghai
Yeah,
Cooperation. Yeah,
yeah,
and the things, the regional issue and democracy issue, the failing
yeah,
of Burma democracy, if
yeah,
the Burma is fall in the hand of China, it will be
yeah,
very serious thing. India has to think twice if Burma lost democracy because it means the Indo-Pacific Indo-Pacific region will be, I mean, Indo-Pacific alliance will be
yeah.
collapsed
It will.
because
China will have an edge
because
in that case.
Burmese can allow Chinese Navy in the
Yeah,
Bay
yeah,
of Bengal, in Indian Ocean. It will be absolutely, backstep to the alliance. The India can not do anything, cannot do any more, cannot do anything more because that is a critical lifeline of Indo-Pacific, Bay of Bengal, and Indian Ocean. So
yeah,
India has to think twice if Burma for democracy because
yeah,
for India, democratic in Burma is more benefit for India, for alliance
yeah,
or for the regional, and India can more influence in Burma and can more relationship compared to authoritarian government in Burma. That's India has to think twice, isn't that's
yeah,
and and India government support is bill so far. They did not. clearly show any support to democratic movement, and
Yeah.
I think they are still silenced by India
Yeah,
government position.
their Indian government is watching the situation developing. As I said, to my estimate, India will first try to develop a friendly relationship with the new regime, military regime. If it fails in that, then it will talk of democracy.
Yeah,
But first, it will try to develop a friendly relationship with the military.
yeah,
India will not. Indian stand will not be determined by the prospect of
yeah,
quote unquote democracy in Burma. Indian stand will be determined whether the regime is friendly to itself or it is inimical. If it is
yeah,
friendly, fine. As I said, in Sri Lanka, Tamils were there is genocide of Tamils. India did not bat an eye.
yeah.
They
You
do
know,
nothing.
right? This is the time for India to stand with Burmese democratic movement
Yeah,
boldly. India should say boldly about democracy. In spite of they are the largest democracy in the world, India should uh, fully support democracy, and India should provide any material or any diplomatic support to the Burma. That is important if India say boldly for democratization in Burma, and also India should uh, shelter any Burmese activists who are run away from military persecution. They should allow. But so far, I think India did not clearly say, boldly say about that. And even those who run away from prosecution, they are still, vis and vis. They want to deportation or they want to a kind of block the entry of who run away from military. So India is not doing good enough so far as a democratic big country right now. So the refugee in Northeast India, the Burmese refugee, it's
yeah.
been not warmly welcomed by India government so far.
No,
I think it is
as
not
I
good.
already said, as I already said that this regime is not going to do that. There is a
Yeah,
past precedence when Burmese dissidents were sheltered in India, and there was a minister actually
yeah,
named George Fernandez.
yeah,
George Fernandez took major initiative and played a major role. Probably in his official residence, he used to keep Burmese students,
yes,
as far as I get it. So, but as I said, that a country does not follow a fixed policy or line. It keeps changing with
yeah,
the change.
yeah,
This government, this government will first try to develop a closer relationship with
yeah,
the present regime, whoever is in power, devil or angel, it won't bother. But if it fails, then it will do something of that sort. It
yeah,
may do that. Right now, there is no way the India government is going to do anything for the Burmese dissidents. Or at least, at the most, they will be somewhat passive. They
yeah,
will not be very actively apprehending the dissidents coming over. That's the most you can expect at the moment.
yeah. It is not a good news, and
Yeah,
India is, if India want to be a regional leader, and if he want to play regional role, and if he want to play international role, he should show some muscle. Those humanitarian issue are very minor issue, very easy one compared to other, uh,
yeah,
the the power games, because
yeah,
humanitarian is very easy in within the domestic boundary. India can do But even that is, India is not showing very good support. That is, it is not encourageable for the role of leadership in the region and as a democratic leader in the world.
Yeah,
Oh, it is sad for from Indian
yeah,
position.
yeah. It's a sad development, as I has said even earlier, that if democracy wins in India, that helps democracy in Burma. If democracy wins in Burma, that in a way helps democracy in India. But the democracy is already sliding down in India, so that
Yeah,
would have a bad effect in Burma
yeah,
as well.
yeah. And what about if the Congress is power, it will be better than BJP?
I think so. I am not too sure. So
Yeah,
as far as Burma is concerned, I am not too sure, but I would feel that it would be better. The Congress government will have a probably higher commitment to democratic values and all that.
yeah, because Congress has more sympathy. They show maybe they show more about democracy. Probably, I'm not sure Indian internal opinion. And what about regional? Local state like Northeast Mizoram state is very strongly they speak out to the central government. So they are doing their own state level, supporting the the refugee from Burma.
Okay.
How is the local state power? They have many things to do, or they are very restricted by central government to do by locals.
Actually, India is a was never a sort of federal state in the sense the US is or was.
Yeah,
India is a quasi-federal state, so the state's constituent state's power is less, and now under the present regime, it is coming down, even more coming down. So the states will not have much say, first of all, and then the people are all far more taken up with the issues in India itself. So
yeah,
the states will be far more inward looking than outward looking. And as I said, when the Burmese dissidents got very substantial support in India, there
yeah.
was a period when George Fernandez was there. George
Yes.
Fernandez played a very major role. So it's an individual who
It's
played
about
a
his
very major role.
personal role, or it's about more about the party role,
It
or
was more his purpose. He was actually from the socialist background,
yes,
but it is more personal because it is George Fernandez, not so many others. It is George Fernandez who took a major stand, and
yeah.
he should try to.
So George Fernand is the best supporter of democracy in Burma, not any other move.
Yeah, George Fernandez.
Local state, what level they can do for, I mean, local state, local government, how much
Local
they
government
can able to support Burmese activists who run away from
lo-
military.
local government will not stick their neck out. They will not try to do anything for the Burmese unless the central
Yeah,
government is in alignment. Only as you said, Mizoram, maybe Mizoram would be
yeah.
an exception, could be because of ethnic
Maybe probably they
connections
can
and all that.
provide shelter and food and something like that, but it may be not very long period.
Yeah,
Maybe short time they can support.
Yeah, that would be an exception. I have got no idea
Yeah,
personally. I've got
because
no idea. But other local state governments, right now, nobody is going to stick its neck out.
only Mizoram is the best. They
Yeah,
try to support. but no other state is not saying
they
they
still
are
thrive on
going
what?
to support, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is very discouraged in India because largest democracy, many
yeah,
around the world in the region has expected India, but it's not India as expected. And what
yeah.
about Indian government and Indian public opinion were also quite different, I guess.
Yeah, public opinion, public, there is no single opinion, there are too many opinions. That is one part. The second part is Indian public opinion right now is
Yeah.
not too much concerned about Burma. So that's why I said if you send some stuff, I can try to circulate it
Yes.
online. That's all.
Mm.
That's
I mean, Hinduism and Buddhism are many way similarity and many connection. So I
yeah,
think the majority of Hindu in India should much concern to the Burma compared to Pakistan or Bangladesh or other country. Hindu community should more. I I thought will support Buddhist community in Burma, but it was not like that. They are not that support,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And only Mizoram is a Christian state. They support the Burmese who are also brother in their neighbor state of Burma. So in that in
India has a,
Mizoram has very small and very limited role
yeah,
and support to do
yeah, yeah.
for democracy. But the whole India is very quite silent except for Mizoram state.